And good morning, folks. This is your old pal, Uncle Al. It's 4 a.m. I'm having my first cup of coffee, and breakfast is light. It's toast and scrambled eggs, and I have a couple of donuts and talk to the workers at my nephew's place. A lot of people don't know that I don't do regular farm activities anymore because Uncle Alan's getting better, and I'm off of one of these shots per day, and they switched me to another medication. That was the doctor's appointment yesterday. I'm very happy. They said I'm looking better. I need to lose a little bit more weight, 26 pounds. A lot of people don't realize I have an endomorph frame, which is a heavy set frame. I used to lift weights. So this shirt right here is an extra large. My other shirt was a large, and when I moved wrong, I ripped the back out of it. That's not bad for an old guy. Do the Incredible Hulk. Rip shirts. So I have to buy things in extra large, which is weird, because I'm Asian. Okay? Now this one is a video response to Hubble's Cat's Shaky Homefront Invasion series. It's a very good series. I tell a lot of people to go watch it and watch the whole thing thorough. Unfortunately, Hubble's Cat is kind of racist and Eurocentric in his viewpoint of the world. Okay? Sorry. That's my opinion. Sorry about that, Hubbles, but we may disagree. But, in fact, Uncle Al's right. His mind game for warfare in Europe and Russia has all the points and stuff, Eurocentric socialist view, and the Iron Curtain fall all over Europe, and they're going to invade either England or America. And I think he's nuts. Okay. Big problem is the Ivan AI torpedo that he put into the mind game. Okay, it's like a war game, mind game. Only problem is, in reality, it doesn't work. In his reality, it works, and it stops all transatlantic shipping. Okay, then we have to do aerial transportation, which is harder, and submarine transportation, which is much harder. That's why they don't put AI torpedoes out. Because the damn torpedo can't tell the difference between our subs or their subs and anything else, hitting whales and stuff. Okay, back to the premise. The Chinese retakes Taipei, because we got to watch out the word for YouTube's AI, algorithm, so we can't say that, and they take over Taipei to reunify China. Okay, and they think, well, the world didn't react to Ukraine, we could do everything. Wrong. Okay, China and the U.S. goes at it, all right? Both have blows, but when they invaded Taiwan, it sent the fire. Okay? Also, Hubble's Cat forget other players in this. Hubble's Cat forgets history a lot. Socialist history is not real history. Real history is if Great Britain did not have India during the Second World War, and India favored, say, oh, fuck this, and went to Japan's side, Japan will win World War II. India will control half of Southeast Asia with their Japanese ally, and India and Japan will be nuking Nazi Germany. People don't realize that India was the fourth largest self-producer of British goods in World War II. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Hubble's cat. That's historical fact. That's why they needed the Suez Canal to be open. Not from raw materials. Oh, we get raw materials from Africa. Wrong. Okay? Big mind game bug point to Hubble's cat. Keeps using Cold War imagery and World War II imagery. Okay? I just use my brains. Okay? What happens when Taipei gets invaded by China as reunification? It sets off a wildfire. Okay? And at the same time, on land, Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia starts a land offensive against southern China. So China is fighting now, not only the United States, it's fighting the Young Tigers, which is Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. They remember last time Southeast Asia was on fire. They're making sure China's doing peace offerings. We'll give you one. And they're looking at them. No, we want gold, land, money, what you took us for in the last couple of wars. So they are full blast, guerrilla, frontal, you name it, raids into south, heading towards India. India sets off another offensive with Tibet. Russia and Mongolia are showing up and adding troops because China tried to invade Russia, backstabbing. Okay, and trying to take the Central Asian states. Central Asian states didn't like what they did to the Uyghurs. Again, something that Hubble's cat, racist, Eurocentric, socialistic viewpoint skipped. And they're heading over there. Iran having problems because they don't like Iran. Saudi Arabia is supporting the Central Asian states against the Soviet Union, against Russia and their allies. And they're going, Russia has to decide, lose Central Asia or go after China. China says, oh, we didn't do anything. We're business, we're calm, we're trying to get money. See, we printed out our own money and nobody wants it. All right? So Hubble's cat on that point, shaky home front, is Eurocentric. Every war, first 2 years of every war is shaky, depending which side you're on. The opposing side or invading side and the, the defending side. Okay? Europe's now in that mode. And so is Russia. Okay? Again, he doesn't read history. Hubble's cat. And Hitler, we could do the Canadian. Okay? If Hitler had settled down in France, all right, and started guerrilla tactics or parachute landings into England and didn't do anything to Russia, England bought the farm, and it's hard doing D-Day off of Iceland and Greenland. People forget Iceland was a Danish colony, so was Greenland. Smoke that in your pipe. Okay? The Young Tigers, Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia has started the offensive in South China, which kind of threatens their Taipei invasion. Okay? Second one is the Philippines. Philippines don't like China's activity in Taipei, and they're backing with the Americans. Now, Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia has seized half of China's fishing fleet and commercial fleet. Okay? China is trying to get past the Filipino Navy. Filipino Navy and the American Navy. Now, who's winning better? The Filipino Navy. Chinese ships is barely scraping by as they invade Wake Island, Midway, and Hawaii, which they successfully capture, and Hawaii's okay. Only problem is it's not sustainable. Hawaii is now under Chinese hands, second Pearl Harbor. Okay? Meanwhile, Thailand, Malaysia, and Indonesia has cut off China's oil supply from the Middle East from Iran. Okay? Gee, I didn't know China was an OPEC nation. Okay? And they're looking at Australia. Australia is like, yeah, good day, mate. What the hell are we doing? Because Australia has its own internal problems with Chinese infiltration. Okay? So you got Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Brunei. A lot of those guys and the Philippines are looking at China's activities in the East China Seas. Also, they're looking at its Pacific Rim areas. New Zealand is like, oh, we support China, and okay, you're going after let's see, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, and yeah, it's New Zealand. Anybody could sneeze and invade New Zealand, okay? Meanwhile, this is for Hubble's Cat's mind game. Shaky home front. The old tigers, Korea and Japan, they said, oh, and his mind game, Korea and Japan are minor bit players. No, they're mad as hell. Okay? They didn't like the double cross in World War II by the communist Chinese, so they let them have it. Okay? Their American cruise missiles suck. Alright, it doesn't have the range. But unfortunately, Korea and Japan has long-range missiles, which devastates most of non-nuclear, most of China's infrastructure. Big time. Also, it destroys certain ports. Alright? America is using Japan as an air base and a missile base for deep counterstrikes into China. It doesn't work too well for the Americans. Okay? Japan gets hit with 6 conventional strikes, but Japan fights back. Very nasty with its own long-range cruise missiles, AI drones. If Hubble's cat could do the Ivan thing, Japan could do its hypersonic AI missiles into China. Now, China is having supply issues and logistic issues trying to take over. Everybody says LA, and San Diego. And I said, look at the supply chains and logistics, you boob. It's not tactics. Okay? One area they're trying to seize is British Columbia, and still people don't get that. Okay? And Washington State, the coast. Soylent Sea. Okay? That was Washington State's biggest worry during World War II. If Japan skipped Pearl Harbor and attacked that, okay, all you people will be speaking Japanese, eating sushi, and it'd be like High Castle. Man in the High Tower, sorry. High Tower is a good fiction book. You should read it one of these days, folks. Or the High Castle. I can't remember, but they did a TV series on that. The West Coast would be under Japanese control. Why bypass Hawaii? Again, resource poor. If you have taken Washington State and British Columbia, you cut off the Pacific Northwest. And you could take over Alaska, and with Japanese gump, and they find out, hey, there's oil in Alaska and raw goods and material. They'd be in Montana and North Dakota, and then Germany would come through the West Coast, and then you have this narrow buffer state. Okay? A lot of people don't think like that. Okay? In Hoople's Minds game, he doesn't think like that. So Washington State is a battleground in all mind game, all war game scenarios. Okay? A lot of current tacticians is amateurish. Nobody wants LA. LA is going to have an IRA style war. Okay? It's not going to be, I'm going to the bathroom. He blown up real good. Okay? That kind of warfare. Okay. The old tigers, Korea and Japan, lay havoc on China. China is trying to maintain support lines for captured territories of Alaska, the Pacific Coast Highway, British Columbia. And they're having a hell of a time. Their Korean allies getting nervous. They don't want the old tigers of South Korea and Japan nuking their butts, and they're making deals with Russia. Russia is supporting China in their Alaska invasion. Everybody's nervous as hell. Okay, this is conventional warfare. It'll take them only 7 battalions to take over Alaska and most of Canadian Pacific Northwest, including the Alaska Canadian. That's a hard one to pronounce. Trans-Alaska Canadian Highway. Once you capture that and the railroads, and you got the coastal water, who's going to stop you? The only problem is China has kind of a crappy aircraft carrier, and it's the only one, and it's fighting against Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Philippines, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, which are taking back all the islands coerced by China in the Pacific. Old tigers like Korea and Japan, after Okinawa, they got serious. Okay? After Taipei fell and Okinawa was severely damaged, they went nuts. Okay? So, right now, China has to call off their invasion of Central Asia, trying to backstab Iran and Russia. Russia is teaming up with Mongolia and going after China at their borders. North Korea is like, okay, I don't want to get involved. Is sending envoys to Japan and Korea saying, we have no issue with you guys. All we're trying to do is help China take over Alaska. Please, and Washington State. Please do not shoot at us. All right? Russia is having hell of a time using Hubble's Cat's mind game, is having a hell of a time maintaining stability in Europe under the Iron Curtain. All right? So that's my response to Hubble's Cat's shaky home front shaky. And go check out his video, the Invasion series. He's going to do one in July. I don't know if it's going to be Occupied France or Occupied UK, but it's a good series and you should watch it. It'll make you think and get prepared. Bye now. I'll catch you later. You have a nice day. Have a nice weekend. And do something good. Spend time with your family. Disconnect from media, social media and stuff, and spend more family time. Away from the computer games, away from the electronics, away from what's going on. And I'll catch you later. You have a nice day. I'll be seeing you. Bye now.